Ladies and gentlemen, on today's show, I have two very, very special guests. I have Colleen and Saeed here with me, and we're going to be going into everything around Arsenal. We're going to be talking about Thierry Henry and the possible top four chances. We're going to be talking about Mikel Arteta and his project for the summer. We're going to be getting into some of the stuff going around Arsenal right now, like Martinelli, possible US tour, and just some of the things that we're going to touch upon. But before I get any further, I want you guys a big welcome to my guest. First time on the channel, I got Saeed to my right, and I got Colleen down in the bottom. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, and thank you, Gal, for having me on your show today. And obviously, nice to meet you, Colleen, as well.
No worries. And Colleen, yourself?
I'm doing well. It's nice to be on and be with you both.
Bless. And also, I just want to get started by introducing you guys to the channel first time. So every time we get started and we get new guests, we have to ask, how did you fall in love with this club called Arsenal, and what got you into it? Because my story is that I got into it through the '98 World Cup, watching Zidane and the France team, and then somehow just got connected to the France national team. I seen a lot of French players on the Arsenal side, and then boom, it just became natural like that. But what about yourselves? I'll get started with Saeed.
Well, I got into supporting Arsenal in somewhere around 1989. That was where I came from. We only used to see the highlights, and I liked that red team. I was a bit young at that point. Obviously, growing up, I've seen the team winning through the 90s. Obviously, that's cemented by the period where we had some domination around the 1998 all the way to 2004. I like the way that the team plays, and I like the way that Arsenal was giving, probably or arguably the best football that you can watch at that period. So that's how I supported Arsenal, and since then I've never changed. I can't see myself supporting anyone else.
Okay, and Colleen, yourself? Yeah, I'm slightly a bit younger than you first started watching in '89. I grew up in a Liverpool household actually, and I just remember watching Arsenal in the early noughties. I did have a thing for Ljungberg. I just loved the way he played, and I think what solidified it was the end of our Highbury days, the way we played, and just the passion that we had across the ground. It was really Highbury that drew me into Arsenal, to be honest with you, and Arsene, because he was the only manager I knew at that time for most of my life.
Yeah, same. I honestly thought growing up that they named the club after him, because I never saw any manager besides him until he left for Unai Emery. So yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I'll tell you that, Colleen. When it comes down to today's schedule, we're going to be getting into a bunch of stuff. But first place I want to begin, beginning of the season, when the season began, I personally did not see us getting into top four. I thought we had a chance if other teams dropped off, but I didn't really see Manchester United dropping off or these other teams dropping off. And today, there's been a lot of controversy. If you guys haven't seen, Thierry Henry said some quotes, and he's really pissed off some of the Arsenal fan base, because he came off very negative about our opportunity to get into top four. And let me just show you guys what was said so you guys know exactly what we're talking about. Thierry Henry on Arsenal's top four chances. For me, if they don't do it, as I said from the start of the season, then it will be a failure. He didn't even acknowledge that we have a good chance, we have a good opportunity, we're on the right track. So let me just show you guys the exact quote. Honestly, first, before we get on the actual top four favorites and everything else, we have to talk about this. Henry, Arsenal legend, is getting a lot of backlash because he did say he didn't believe that we can get into the top four and it would be a failure. He basically echoed his thoughts from the beginning of the season again, instead of saying some some kind words saying, you know what, they're doing well, maybe they can get it, maybe he can do good. I think personally it could push them on, but it's his own opinion. He's keeping the same energy as he said at the beginning of the season. I don't find anything wrong with it, but I would think that there might be a conflict of interest with the fact that he did want to buy the club a couple months ago, if you remember, with the whole Daniel X situation. So maybe that's in the back of my mind when I say I don't know if he's being genuine, but to me, he will always be a club legend. I will never disrespect him. I understand that's his opinion. I respect his opinion, but I highly disagree. I want to know, Saeed, what do you think about this?
I think it's a obviously it came across to me like a negative vibe, but if you look at it, I try to address everything with some logic around it. If you look at our chances and look at the table and see, everybody around the league last week and the week before, literally playing for Arsenal. It's playing for Arsenal hand. We did what? We played 22 games. Everybody around us played 24, 25. We still have 3 games in hand. We're 39 points. If we win, or not if we win, the next 5 games, basically, the next 5 fixtures are all within reach. They are all possible. If we get them, we firmly in the top 4. And also maybe we can, I don't know, but if Chelsea keep dropping points like it is, maybe even top 3. I'm not ambitious to say this because I look at it from numbers point of view and from calculation point of view. I mean, the next 5 fixtures, I think we have Wolves again, and then we have Brentford, Wolves again, and then we have Watford, Leicester, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Brighton. They're all within reach. Even Southampton are all within reach. I mean, from now until the 16th of April, you probably have a very good chance of going in a very good streak and not losing any games. So if you look at the fixtures around you and the fixtures around the other 4 or 5 teams that fighting us for the for the top 4, I think we have a very good chance. But it all depends on the next 4 or 5 games. If you have a winning streak, this is it. You're not gonna let it go.
Okay, Colleen, what do you think about Henry's comments of the top 4 and just before we get into the top 4 race itself?
I mean, I am inclined to agree with him, if I'm honest with you. I do think people are being a tad sensitive about it. It might be slightly unpopular thing to say, but I know at the beginning of the season I never thought, I don't think either of you guys thought we would be in a top 4 race as close as it is at this point in the season. When you looked at the squads when we first came in, United, of course, Ronaldo, Bruno, De Gea, they have quite a nice spine there, or so you would think on paper. Chelsea, of course, Liverpool and City. We were never in the running for it. Now, in February, there is such a great chance to get it. I can see what he's saying, that it would be a failure, and maybe in his eyes, I think a failure might be slightly a harsh word because it might be slightly unfair to keep moving the goalpost, but you have to keep adapting throughout the season. Like, chances will pop up that you never thought would pop up. Failure might be too harsh, but then again, Henry played for us during a time where we were never fighting for 4th. It was a title, trying to get in the late stage of the Champions League. He's coming across like your Roy Keanes of the world, your Gary Nevilles, your Jamie Carragher's, who have always played for this club at an elite level. And it's a difficult situation to see them at a level that they've never been in the club in and around what they are now, fighting for 4th or even 6th or 5th, just trying to stay in Europe. So failure might be a bit harsh. I think a lot of people, would take 5th if we didn't get 4th. I generally think a lot of people would be like, fine, we're at least back in Europe. Because remember, we finished 8th 2 seasons in a row. I think people are forgetting, it's not like we're in the Wenger years, the latter days of the Wenger years, where it was just 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. We're not even in Europe this season. So you've got to be realistic. I don't think it wouldn't be a failure if we didn't get 4th. I'd be disappointed. I'm expecting us, we're out of all the cups. We're not in Europe. Chelsea even as well, they're not, they've been a bit unstable in the league. So alluding to your point, Said, around, potentially 3rd, but that might be a bit ambitious. But around fourth, Tottenham, inconsistent. United, they have the squad, but you know, if it wasn't for like last night getting a player sent off for Brighton, and even then, they didn't look great. And we almost fall in that category as well. We're just so consistently inconsistent. So it's just going to come down to that. So I wouldn't say it'd be a failure. I can see what he's saying. I'm expecting it. At this point, from now, from February onwards, we have a chance. So why not? But then, you know, like I said, he was involved in the kind of the takeover bit with Daniel Ek. You know, he's always played for the club when we've been fighting for titles. So he has a different motive behind it than us. So it's kind of unclear where he's coming from.
Yeah. So my question maybe to the audience would be, and to everyone here would be, Henry said his point. He's okay with his. I'm okay with him saying his opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. But I personally feel like we are favorites for the top four. So I'm asking everybody here: are we favorites for the top four? Because that's my question. My next question is: